You guys going one on, one off?
No, just put both on, Jesus. All right, welcome back to Strictly Hoops. We'll be talking mostly about March Madness today, just college this week. So starting it off, Duquesne, number 11 seed in the tournament, beat number 6 BYU 71-67. Great game for them.
That was a really exciting game. I don't think a lot of people had Duquesne. I know I had them in my bracket, but yeah, great upset to start off March Madness there.
Yeah, first game of March Madness.
And then number 11, Oregon beats number 6 South Carolina 87-73. So two 11-6 upsets in a row. That's pretty cool.
I think that was a common upset for people to have. Oregon has a good, solid team. South Carolina kind of struggled down the stretch in the season.
Yeah, South Carolina was a little inconsistent in the last quarter of the season, and I think Oregon is just like Nick said, a really strong foundation. They have really good guard and big and Dante and Kuznert, and then they have a good coach, former Creighton coach Allman.
Yeah.
Okay, and then number 4, the biggest upset in the tournament, number 14 Oakland beating number 3 Kentucky 80-76. Messed up everyone's bracket. No one saw that coming.
Yeah. Well, Jack Golke had 10 threes for Oakland in that game. And he's really made a name for himself in this tournament.
Yeah, that was really like the most exciting upset I've seen in a while, like in the last couple of years. I mean, Golke with 10 threes, he's kind of emerged as like the Doug Eater of this season, like how Doug Eater was for St. Peter's last year when they made a run. Unfortunately, Oakland's season came to an end, but I mean, great run for him. I know he had like 18 threes in 2 games, so.
And also, he, like, during the regular season, he only had 4 2-pointers. That's all. Like, 8 points on just, like, mid-range layups.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He's also been signing a lot of NIL deals with a lot of companies. Like,
Yeah, some sponsorships.
yeah. And disappointing season for Kentucky. Everyone had them going pretty far in their brackets, but
Yeah,
lost first round.
I think I love Rob Dillingham as a player, but I don't think he showed up ready for that game. I mean, he disappointed a little bit, but
Yeah.
I think their coach also has to get fired.
Calipari,
Yeah.
he's just, I mean, they've choked year and year again, and so it's just maybe he needs a new place, a new fit for him.
Yeah.
So going on to another 11-6 upset. Number 11, NC State beats number 6, Texas Tech. It wasn't like a lot of people had that in their bracket. NC State beating them, so.
Great win for NC State. They're hot right now, coming off the ACC tournament win.
Yeah, I mean, NC State winning over UNC in the ACC tournament was, I mean, huge for them. That's, I mean, rivalry, of course, because they're both North Carolina. Really big, like, for them to be still making a run right now, and pretty exciting to see them still going.
Another huge upset. Number 13, Yale beats number 4, Auburn 78-76. Really close game. I thought Auburn was for sure going to win that one, but.
Well, Auburn had a chance to win it, but just missed too many shots at the end. Great win for Yale.
Yeah, that was a crazy sequence at the end where like they just kept missing. Like one guy had a wide open layup and missed it, and then they kept rebounding it and missing it.
Another big upset. I mean, was number 5 Wisconsin. I didn't think they were too good of a 5 seed, but number 12 JMU beats them. So that was a pretty good win for JMU. Wisconsin, not too good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people saw this one coming because, I mean, evidently from watching them, JMU is a really good basketball team, and so I thought Wisconsin was a little lacking, so I did have JMU over Wisconsin in my bracket. But what about you guys?
I also had JMU.
I did not. I had Wisconsin, but
Wisconsin really fell apart at the end of the season or towards the end.
And then another 12-5 upset. I had St. Mary's beating Grand Canyon, but number 12 Grand Canyon beats number 5 St. Mary's. So
I also had Grand Canyon beating that one, or winning that one.
Yeah, I had St. Mary's, but I mean, GCU's made a really good run in this tournament, and I thought St. Mary's was like good, looking good in the start of the game, but they just kind of fell apart.
And then going in the second round, terrible season for Kansas. Number 5 Gonzaga beats number 4 Kansas. Pretty good too.
Yeah, it was a good win for Gonzaga. They were looking super hot heading into the Sweet 16 with a huge win over Kansas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people had even like the 12 seed McNeese State beating Gonzaga, but I mean clearly Gonzaga has proved they're worthy of making a really good run this tournament, Elite Eight, Final Four, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat KU. Which I mean KU's really, like Hudson said, really let down this season. They're
Yeah.
really bad.
Bad
didn't-
year all around for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
I
Battle.
didn't think Gonzaga regular season did very well though. So.
Oh, not at all. I was surprised that they've made it so far.
Yeah.
And then another big game, two teams that upset bigger seeds. Number 11 NC State versus number 14 Oakland. NC State wins in overtime. Both good teams that not everyone saw doing very well, but I thought NC State was going to win that. I mean, Oakland, they beat Kentucky, but Jack also had 30 points, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see Oakland's season come to an end after having such a huge upset like that and having such a star emerge in Jack Kolke on that team. But really good win for NC State there.
Yeah.
And then another huge game. Number 3 Creighton beats number 11 Oregon in double overtime. Some dudes on Oregon actually, and Foley Dante, he had 28 points and 20 rebounds, so huge
Yeah.
numbers there. And then Jermaine Kuznard had 32 points, and they still lost. So that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was the game of March Madness so far. That was the game to watch. I mean, last game of the night, and it was just exciting. It was just double OT. Dante was just going nuts. Kuznard couldn't miss a shot. I mean, I was freaking out that game, and I'm really glad Jays pulled off the win. But, I mean, it was looking like Oregon most of the ball game.
That was clearly the best game in March Madness so far. Double overtime. It was exciting.
And then number 6 Clemson beats number 3 Baylor.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that because going into the tournament, I did not think Clemson was a good team at all.
A lot of
Yeah.
people had Clemson losing
Yeah.
to New Mexico.
I did too. I thought
I
New
had that.
Mexico was way better.
Yeah. And then number 1 Houston barely beats Texas A&M. They went into overtime. So Houston, I mean they're a good team, but I think they should do a little better against them.
Yeah, you could argue that was also a game of March Madness. There was a buzzer beater to send it into overtime. There was like a bounce pass to like half
Fadeaway.
court. Yeah,
Fadeaway 3.
yeah, craziest pass and shot I've ever seen for a buzzer beater. That was
Right.
nuts.
Texas A&M ended up losing in overtime.
Yeah, it's a sad loss for them, especially after hitting a buzzer beater to continue it. But it is what it is.
Okay, going to the Sweet 16, we'll just talk about the games and then recap it or predict it. So in the East, we have San Diego State versus UConn, and then Illinois versus Iowa State.
I think UConn beat San Diego State pretty easily. They're the number 1 overall team in the country, and San Diego State hasn't really played anybody good.
Yeah, it's a little rematch of the national championship last year, and I
It is.
yeah, I think UConn's a better team. I think that's pretty obvious, and I think UConn will probably win it all, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and then the Illinois versus Iowa State game. Illinois, they're more offensively. They have a really good offense, and then Iowa
Yeah.
State has a really good defensive team. So
I think it'll be a really close game. Two
Mhm.
good teams.
Yeah, I like Iowa State a little bit more here, but I mean Illinois, you can't let them get off to a good start because they will torch you.
mhm.
Yes.
And then in the West, Alabama versus UNC. I think this will be a very good game. So that's really all I got.
Yeah, former Tar Heel Caleb Love on Arizona. That'll be kind of fun for him to play his former team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope North Carolina and Arizona win just to see those two play after Caleb Love left UNC. I think it'll be a really close game.
Yeah, if that would be a really good game if it happened or when it happened. Yeah, but yeah, I think UNC's probably gonna make it to the Final Four if I had to guess. But
Yeah. And then in the South, we have NC State versus Marquette. When Marquette's healthy, they're a very good team, hard to beat. So I'm taking Marquette.
I think NC State's season comes to an end versus Marquette. Marquette's just better overall. They've been really good when all their players are playing.
Yeah. If like I said, Marquette healthy, that's a really hard team to beat, and I just see them winning that game 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, and then to me, Duke versus Houston, I'm taking Duke because Duke played a very good game versus JMU, who I think is actually pretty good, and then Houston barely won in overtime, so I'm taking Duke on that game.
Really, that's
I think Houston struggled to beat Texas A&M, and Duke's been playing good against who they play. So I think Duke's also gonna beat them.
yeah. I mean, I really don't know. I'd probably say I think Houston's a better team, but I know Duke has a lot of momentum. They've been rolling. They've been doing really good. Jared McCain's been just off the charts. He started his last game 6 for 6 from 3.
He's having a great freshman season.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really good game. I'm not sure though. I'd probably have to go Houston, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
And then in the Midwest region, we got Gonzaga versus Purdue and Creighton versus Tennessee. Gonzaga versus Purdue. Purdue's been really good, beating Utah State. And then Gonzaga beats Kansas, which is still a pretty good win. So I think it should be a good game.
Both teams are hot right now, winning a lot of games by a lot, but I think Purdue's gonna end Gonzaga's season.
I think Purdue is gonna. I think Purdue's gonna end Gonzaga's season as well. But I don't think Purdue's as hyped up as they should be. They're not. They have some flaws and errors, and I think the winner of Creighton versus Tennessee could exploit those and move on to the Final Four.
Yeah, Creighton versus Tennessee, I think there'll be a close game. Both really good teams.
Yeah,
Both good offensive teams.
yeah. Those are two of the best offensive teams in the country right there.
Yeah. So that's pretty much wrapping it up. So there's going to be some good games this weekend, Sweet 16.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I forgot to
How long was that?